How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading with the prices going up or down. Over on Dixie for the daily, we are continuing upwards. I would watch. This could end up being a double bottom at this point where you have a drop, a rise, and a drop. You could consider that like one big attempt to push forward, and then a drop down. If that was a double bottom, that could push us forward, so I would watch. Remember, that could end up making crypto sell off even more. Stochastic does want to push up, RSI is pushing forward, VWAP is strong, and momentum is gaining strength. If that VWAP stays bullish, we're likely going to continue forward. Over on the 1 hour, if we look here, we are well above that 300 EMA. Momentum is starting to curl away, VWAP is starting to favor bearish. If that VWAP does continue to favor bearish, we could see a reversal. We did not retest that 300 EMA, so we could end up pushing down to this consolidation range, maybe seeing some volatile action, and then retesting that EMA if we're not careful. That would be the hopeful scenario for crypto. So over on Bitcoin dominance for the daily, we did run up very good. Bitcoin did do better than our altcoins, so it just didn't lose as much. That's all that really means. RSI is pushing up, stochastic gaining strength, that VWAP is pushing up, momentum is pushing forward, and money flow is staying bullish, so we could see this trend continue. Over on our altcoins, or total market cap, this is all the altcoins besides Ethereum. We are retesting the top of that triangle, much like we said to watch. We did retest that 300 EMA, but we did hold that. That is positive. If we stay above that EMA, remember, we could make higher lows with higher highs and still push forward. Our stochastic is pulling back, pushing RSI down. Momentum is weakening as that VWAP pulls back, and that money flow is bullish. But if that VWAP and momentum continue lower, we could see a break here. Over on the 1 hour, our VWAP is trying to break bullish. Watch if it can hold. If it can hold here, momentum will push up. Money flow could go from red to green. However, if that VWAP gets a weak push here, we see a weak high, much like this one back here, and then we see a significant low like back here, we're likely going to continue lower. So watch that VWAP over the next couple hours very closely. Or use alerts. Alerts are your friend. They can help notify you if you have like the TradingView app. It's free. You can get an alert, send an alert, much like we did before. So if you wanted to have an alert for if we hit this resistance, you could say add alert, and now you have an alert. So if you hit that area, and then you can watch the market. If we hold, then we could run forward. That would make a higher low with potential higher highs, and then that could be a signal that you may want to jump in on a swing trade or something. Not financial advice, such as how you can use alerts to help you. Stochastic is pulling back, RSI is pushing down, momentum is weakening, VWAP is pushing down, and money flow is starting to reject, so I would exercise caution here. Over on the 1 hour, we could end up having a bit of a bear flag. We did have a potential double bottom, both on futures and Bitcoin, so now we have a bear flag forming, both on Bitcoin and futures. You could consider this range right here. So we have a little bit of a freak break up. We tried to manipulate our way out. We did not get that double bottom. We pulled back in. We did try to crash, but now we're returning to this range here. I would watch because this could give us further bearish momentum if we're not careful. If I can grab the line, that could push us right around that 67K support area where that gap is. That would be positive if we do see this play out to fill that gap, because then we won't have any gaps below us, and then we do have that strength to continue forward. Remember, we do have a little bit of a gap here, right above that 300 EMA at that 62.6. So if we fill that lower gap, we could push up, fill that 62.6, and then hopefully continue forward after that. So Bitcoin, very similar here on price action. At VWAP does want to break neutral, momentum is trying to push forward, and that money flow is pulling back. I would watch if that VWAP can break bullish and hold. We can invalidate that bear flag possibility, but if that VWAP makes a lower high and starts to continue to see lower lows, we have a low here and a lower low here. So if we see lower highs with these lower lows, we could end up breaking down, pushing momentum and money flow lower. It would in turn weaken those higher time frames. So if we jump over to the 2 hour, the 2 hour money flow is bearish, VWAP is bearish. 4 hour money flow is flirting with flipping into bearish territory. Remember, we did reject that 300 EMA as well. If we can't hold above that EMA, it's likely we will push lower. If we see that VWAP break down, that money flow will be in the bearish territory. Then we will have the 1, 2, and 4 hour confluence that can continue to drop us lower. So I would exercise caution there. Over on graph for the daily, we did reject our resistance area. We retested that 16,316 and we got rejected. We almost pushed down to our support area. We did get hung up on this consolidation range back here. So that's why watching consolidation ranges are good areas of support resistance if you're watching for like swing trades. Our stochastic is pushing down. RSI is weakening, momentum is rounding, VWAP is pulling back, and that money flow is bullish, but if that VWAP continues lower, momentum and money flow will start to weaken here. Over on the 1 hour, our VWAP is favoring bearish and our money flow has been bearish for some time. We do have lower highs and lows that do not connect, so this is a bearish continuation that can continue to drop you down. Momentum is breaking down. That VWAP does want to break bullish, but I would watch. If we get a lower high and then we continue to see lower lows, it's likely we will continue lower, weakening those higher time frames. Over on Ankr for the daily, we did reject our 2673, and I would watch for further bearish momentum. Remember, we do have that gap to the upside though, so that is positive. Stochastic is pulling back, RSI is pushing down, our momentum is rounding, that VWAP is pulling back, and that money flow is technically bullish, but it's not very strong, and with VWAP pulling back, that could reverse, so watch those lower time frames. Over on the 1 hour here, we do have a bearish continuation here as well, where the highs and lows don't really connect, so again, exercise caution as that can continue to drop us down. That VWAP does want to push forward, momentum is trying to gain strength, money flow is trying to push forward, so we do look decent for a bounce and a continuation here. If that VWAP stays bullish, we can try to break that 2673 and give those higher time frames strength. Over on XRP for the daily, the SEC did appeal the decision by the court, so we saw a big red candle, broke that 300 EMA. I would watch if we can't hold this 54. We do have our 50, 48, 45, and 38 support areas. RSI is pulling back, stochastic is dropping, VWAP is breaking down, momentum is rounding, so overall I would exercise caution here. Over on the 1 hour, you can see we did drop very quick, so we could end up pushing up in response and then watch for lower highs with lower lows. If we see that, we could get that bearish continuation, much like Ankr and graph. VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is pushing down, money flow does want to break down, stochastic and RSI are weakening, so again I would exercise caution here. Over on ALGO for the daily, we are seeing a bit of a rising channel that could form, but the highs and lows don't really connect. This is a lower high, so we don't really have much of a strong bullish continuation either. I would just watch, because if they do start connecting, we could get a rising channel, and that rising channel could push us lower. Stochastic is pushing down, RSI is weakening, that VWAP is breaking down, and money flow is bullish, but VWAP and momentum continue to drop. That money flow is going to follow. Over on the 1 hour, we do have lower highs with lower lows. So again, we do have that bearish continuation as they don't really connect. Stochastic does want to push up, but it's starting to round, so keep an eye on it. RSI is flat, so if that stochastic breaks down, RSI could bring price lower. VWAP is trying to break bullish, so watch for that to hold. If that VWAP can hold, momentum will continue further. We do have a bullish divergence, and money flow could gain strength. If that holds for several hours, then we can strengthen higher time frames and push up. But if that VWAP gets a weak high here and then we see a significant low like this way back here, then we could continue our bearish continuation and drop to that 1032. So we are hanging on our first support. I would watch. If we do not make a bounce here, we would push to our next support. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I appreciate all of you. Have a great night.